Yo, what's going on, guys? Gonna be taking a look at a silver Nocturne player. For your runes, it looks good. You have Lethal Tempo, Triumph with Tenacity, Last Stand, Eyeball with Ultimate Hunter. Perfectly fine on Nocturne, not going for Conquer. You don't have to. If you want to go Lethal Tempo, you're usually doing that for the 1 vs 1 potential. Fighting to the death, full HP, Lethal Tempo is generally better. And Vi went Hella Blade, so she shouldn't really have a chance against you. If you're playing against a jungler who doesn't go for Lethal Tempo or Conquer and you have Lethal Tempo by default, you're going to win those 1 vs 1s assuming you have equal or more HP. Right now you're just keeping watch, you get your ward down, I really like it. I would prefer the position to be a little bit more neutral, like in that bush, if you can do so safely. But this is fine. It's a little easier to get a more neutral ward from this side of the map rather than this side. But yeah, decent. I like how you go back at your Oracle lens. You start with your bot lane for best leash possible. Everything looks good so far. Go straight into Gromp. You have your W for the bonus attack speed. You can actually smite Gromp. That's fine though. Looks like I assume you're gonna smite red and then you'll have a smite left over. You're gonna want to use your E though, unless you think you're being invaded. Your E will speed up your clear. It has a decent amount of base damage and also fears 80 damage, so it's basically like a free auto attack and a fear. So unless you think Vi is gonna invade you, I would just use your E on the camp for a bit of extra damage. So yeah, you push out into Scuttle with smite charge. You see Vi's mid. When you saw her, you would have clicked over there and saw she had red buff and she was low HP. And you would have saw she didn't have blue buff. So here you should go straight into her blue. You shouldn't even go for Scuttle. That looks like exactly what you're doing. You pop Sweeper at a pretty good time. You saw this bush with Sweeper, this bush, and then you can check over the wall. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You're going to E her immediately. EQ. I probably wouldn't even get an auto down right here. But maybe like auto EQ is fine. Yeah, not too bad. I would just say don't use your double proactively, use it reactively. It's a very common mistake on Nocturne. I make it myself. Do it when you see them using an ability instead of just using. If you use it to use it, they'll almost never hit it because they're looking for that. So they'll get greedy and eventually hit you. I would just take double Scuttle here. Pushing the opposite side. I would have ran through because you already saw Vi was dead, right? I would just shove through the other side, taking the double Scuttle. You could come top lane for the gank. You see you have more HP than Vi. You have double buffs, and for some reason she doesn't have potions. I don't know what she did, but she wrecked herself. Your top laner isn't able to follow up because she's low HP, so this is a bad fight. You should just go for opposite side Scuttle or reset. You're gonna get chonked. Now you're giving all the pressure to Vi when you should have just gotten double Scuttle. This is basically just like a circus fight where neither team should be fighting here because neither team can kill each other. You guys are just like fighting for the sake of fighting. I think it mainly happened because you didn't realize your top laner was low HP. Whenever you're going in for a gank, you need to click over there with the F key or click on the mini map and scan HP and mana real quick. That'll let you know whether or not it's going to be a successful gank. So you're full clearing. You decide not to back because all your camps come up. I'm fine with that if you can do them linear. I'll check bottom Scuttle real quick. Smite it immediately. Yup. Hold on to your E since it's almost dead anyways. You have a potential gank bot side here. Big wave crashing. You see Ezreal hasn't bought any more items yet, so he'll probably want to reset here. Okay, so now they're going all in. This should be a free gank. Ooh, that's a lot of minions though. It's a lot of minions. Very nice. You might have to flash auto. Not too bad. Vi's here. Sacrifice the Maokai. You just need to go get level 6. I would go get your blue buff. Or you could R here. Just wait for Vi to separate. So if you thought she was in this bush and she's walking away, you just wait a few seconds, or if Ezreal's about to break vision, you could go in. Yep, that's exactly what you do. And with the auto attack E. Oh, let me go back. I didn't see what happened to your Q. You can Q in midair. You can Q in midair and you can also W in midair. But I would just hit him with the Q like right here. and you get the trail on him and the damage. So instead you E, and then you kind of hold on to Q. I don't know where the Q went, or it's bugged or what. I guess you're out of mana. Yeah, that's kind of weird. How are we not able to get this? Yeah, I don't know. Just maybe move a little bit cleaner in between your autos. Practice that in training tool. That was close though. If you waited in your jungle just a little bit longer, you get back a bunch of mana per second, the lower on mana you are from your jungle item. That was really close though. I guess you want to start dragging because the Collie's over here. Bear in mind, we're sitting on a lot of gold right now to where this dragon's only going to give so much value. But, I mean, if you really want to, you can block it with your W. Dragon autos, it's the only jungle monster where its attacks are coded as ability hits. So if you were to W this, you'd get bonus attack speed. Take it faster, looks like that's what you end up doing. You fight on top of your Q, looks good. I wouldn't bother using your E on Dragon, just because it's such a little amount of damage. And Dragon has so much HP, you're going to be taking it like 1% faster, and you'll be risking a lot more. Now we're starting to overstay. Like, we want to spend our gold. Your R's on cooldown. You have to think about what you're losing by backing, and you're not losing anything. If you reset, you can come do blue, wolves, linear, or you could even go topside linear down from Krugs, like red. Wraps, but like right now we're sitting on so much gold. 2,291. That's just so much damage for our next R. I assume what's going to happen is we're not going to recall, and we're just going to keep playing the game with no items. You're making the game hard on yourself. You've outpathed Vi, I think, with your just full clear. You've gotten way more XP and gold than her. But now we're choosing to recall. I guess maybe, can you get full item here or something? You couldn't even get full item, so I don't know why you randomly decided to back now. Kind of weird, because you left the red and Krugs up instead of just like resetting after Dragon. Guess you wanted to maximize items for your next R. Your R's up, so you're looking for gank. This is the right play. I would probably go for Thresh, to be honest. If Ezreal is really fed, you might have to kill him first so he doesn't kill you. But Ezreal's going to be hard to kill him because he has a dash. And then if he starts running and Thresh runs a different way, Thresh can just lantern him. So I would just go for Thresh. I would W his Flay. Right when Ashe landed that slow, I probably just went for it. See how Thresh is positioning behind Ezreal to toss Lantern. So you're going for Ezreal. In this case, I think it's fine because your teammates are going to guaranteed kill their support. So going for Ezreal makes sense. I would start queuing in midair because a lot of times people, they don't want to flash or dash until you make contact because they understand that if you're in midair traveling at them with R, no matter where they jump, your R will take you straight to them and still do damage. So if you get in the habit of hitting Q on them in midair, it just makes it a lot easier because at this point, right when you go to cast it, this is when they're going to flash dash and you oftentimes will miss the Q. Or you could just hold on to it until after your fear fully lands. It's not as ideal that way because your Q trail gives you so much movement speed after you hit a champ with it. So I guess that's the main thing I would change, is try to start using your Q technically before you impact off of R if possible. You see you have more items than Vi. You have more gold spent in a meaningful way here because Vampiric, it's not an item for 1v1s to the death. It's more of a laning item. Oh, I hit you with an auto, you hit me with an auto, now I'll heal that back off of minions for like 8 auto attacks. So the gold you have spent will be more meaningful in this fight to the death. So just hit her with a Q the second she's about to walk into the bush. QE, red smite, try to block her, Q exit with your W, like walk in front of her. So you pretty much do that. You just didn't think about blocking her exit, and her closest exit from here is over this thin wall rather than walking all the way over here. That's the main thing there, is just taking a step, getting in between her and the wall. Your red buff's up. You see Teemo's kind of low. You take the wide path to cut him off. Looks good. You need oracles up if you're going to gank someone like Teemo or Shaco. Teemo and Shaco top are 2 champions. You don't, once they're 6, you don't gank them without oracles, it's impossible. I guess with Shaco top, you never gank him without oracles because you don't know where he goes. Your R is about to be up, so you wouldn't want to recall right now. You want to stay on the map. Probably just R Yon right when he puts his dash on cooldown. Keep an eye on him. You see he's going top side. You scan top real quick. You look at their items. You're like, okay, Teemo's way bigger than Akali right now in terms of gold spent. I don't know if you'd want to fight this 2 versus 2. This could get messy. We'll see, though. Maybe if you guys can pinch hard enough. Teemo is a full item. The main things you're looking for on items is completed item. Okay, so the first thing you're looking for is like overall gold spent, which is usually looking for completed items, and then you're looking for tier 1, tier 2 boots differential. So here you have no boots. Teemo has no boots. You see Yon has tier 2, so it's gonna be hard for you to stay on top of him. It's gonna be hard for your tier 1 to. It's gonna be hard for your tier 1 boot Akali to stay on top of the tier 2 boots Yon because it'll just be so much faster. So keep that in mind if you guys do go to focus him. You could go top. Teemo doesn't have boots if you don't think Yon's there right now. This would be fine. You do want to use your R though. So like, I would look at Yon, wait for him to use dash, and then R him. Like right there, I would just hit him with R. Boom, he's dead. Wait, what happened to Rise? What the heck? He lost all of his health. Yeah, never mind. I guess I wouldn't have gone. I didn't realize Rise was almost dead. What a goofball. Teemo dies. Now you're kind of just stuck. I wouldn't take Herald here because the Yon diff. If Rise had killed Yon or if Rise was still in lane, I think starting Herald would be okay. But yeah, it won't work. You could potentially R him here. Yep. Q him in midair, hit him with the E auto attack red smite. You definitely hold on to your Q for too long. I emphasize on Nocturne holding on to Q in ganks until you can land it, especially when you come deep up from behind. Like it can make sense to fear then Q if you come up, like if the enemy laner's here and you come up behind them, then I'll often fear into Q is best. But off of R, you're already on them, which eliminates the guesswork and their reaction time to actually dodge it in the space they need to dodge it. So I would just say you're holding on to Q for too long, which is ultimately limiting your movement speed. Nice. The only thing I would have done, another thing I would have done differently here is used your red smite. It would have helped you chop them up. You take, it's like 20-25% less damage. Yeah, 20%. Very, very strong. That Rise R was really forced. Definitely just take Herald here. They got Dragon. You guys need to get Herald. You decide you don't want it. Your R is about to be up. I would start scanning for the gank. So like right here, you would say, okay, Rise and him are both tier 2s. Yon isn't full item yet. So this is still very gankable as long as Rise isn't almost dead. Even though Yon's 2 and 1, Rise is 0 and 3. Their items are about the same. Rise just back, so you have to go top. It's going to be hard for you to kill someone who can block your auto attacks like Teemo or Jax if they're full health. At least you got his flash. You're getting okay value. You're doing a decent job of using your Rs whenever they come up. The main thing is you're just holding on to Q for too long off of your Rs. Also, if you know the enemy jungler's on Dragon, or if you think they are, you need to take the Herald. You got Dragon for free and you didn't retaliate with any objective. You getting Herald would have been a pretty spicy trade. Now we're taking it at a kind of a random time because our mid laner just died. So they have full mid prio, and now we're taking it. I guess he felt safe because he had control word here. I'm not a huge fan of this specific timing because if they did have a ward in the river or anything like that, and then they'd come for you. Or if they just happen to walk by you coming for your top laner, which makes this very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Need to hit it in the back. Oh, you can smite the Herald for some health. You do. You don't quite get it. I would have probably just flashed behind it autoed. That's fine though. Stridebreaker Nocturne is much better for ganks than Gorginker Nocturne is, but Gorginker Nocturne is probably better in scrappy team fights. So just keep that in mind. Like, their team is very physical damage heavy. I probably would have gone plated here as well. You took tenacity in your rune, so you probably didn't need merc treads. Your R is up, so you're looking immediately for the gank. I just think we're ganking the wrong lanes here. You went bot a lot and you couldn't kill Ezreal, and I think you got frustrated, but at least you can kill Thresh consistently with your bot lane CC. Ganking Teemo is kind of annoying for Nocturne, but we'll see. His flash is on cooldown at least. You're still holding on to your Q. You need to use that a bit sooner. And you trade 1 for 1. Here you just want to take Krog's red wraps. You get back to full health. Then you could look for a dragon or a reset if you really want to. Teemo's missing a big chunk of health. I would have definitely red smited this red buff, gotten back to above half health, then you can come up behind him. And I think you could kill him as long as you block his Q with your spell shield. A lot of abilities in League, you can't, like, you can hear them before you see them with a lot of abilities. Teemo's blind art is one of them. It makes like this pucker sound. That's why I recommend when you play League, don't play with the sound, like the music sound on, and don't play with music on, because it makes it really hard to hear certain animations. It's like 100% of the time, with how slow and how noisy Teemo blind is, you should be able to block it with Nocturne W in a 1 versus 1. So here we should have red smite it, gone up there and killed him. We have tier 2 boots advantage, and we're also tied 1 full item with him, so we're faster, and we would have had double buff advantage. It would be really free. They get another free dragon. We're gonna have to start contesting those. Your R is up. We want to look to use it. You look for the closest thing, see if it makes sense. Bot lane here. I think it makes sense since your teammates are here. Ezreal just blew his E immediately. R that. You always have your Q. You're definitely holding on to your Q for too long. It's just the whole concept of, if once your Q hits them, it trails behind them for the full 5 seconds. So like, as long as it lands, it doesn't matter where your initial Q shoots off to. As long as it hits them, it's worth, because you'll be moving really fast into them. Very nice. You get both of them. I would have liked to seen us camp bot lane more this game instead of going top and mid a lot, because you do have the Ashe slows and the Maokai CC. It should be pretty easy. Not bad though. You've been getting good value. When you compare yours to Vi's value, if she didn't have a... You guys are pretty equal in value right now. And I think you'll outscale her because you have Hella Blades. I mean, she has Hella Blades and you have Lethal Tempo, so... You should have this scaling up on her. Teemo's got it. Wow. I can't believe he got that for free. That's wild. I would probably wait, honestly. I wouldn't attack her right now unless you felt like you were getting pinched. The moment you see this, wait to Q smite it to where your Q hits her and the blue buff at the same time. You smite it and then you wreck her. That would be my plan. Oh, it looks like she knows. I would have still Q smited it. Your R's up. Teemo's full health. You need your teammates, here's the thing. It was a bit of an awkward time to back because your teammates just got there. You went for the Death's Dance. You decide, Teemo, you have double armor items, but you're focusing their only magic damage champ. You are full HP though, and you have red smite, so you should win this. He doesn't have ignite, so just right as you... That's a really cool animation, but like in midair, you're hitting him with Q right now. Boom, Q slaps him. You're going to press E immediately, red smite immediately, and just chunk him down. And you're also going to use your stride breaker pretty much immediately to stay on top of them, help you land your fear. So you do stride breaker early. You still have your Q though, which you could have fired in midair. Now you start your E. You're starting your E immediately. Like, that's the first thing you do pretty much is like E, stride breaker, you're autoing, and your Q's already landed from midair. Chomper up, yep. You have lethal tempo, she doesn't. You have way more damage per second than she does. That worked really well. Very, very nice. That's the lethal temp difference. Lethal tempo diff. Also, if you would have played bot side more, you would have gotten more dragons. You started playing top side, but there was once or twice where you didn't really push Herald where you could have. So if you don't plan on playing bot side, you need to really be willing to take those Heralds after you get a successful gank. I do understand though. There's a couple times where you couldn't because Rise was getting killed solo by Yone. It's making things challenging. We shouldn't be down here right now. Because first of all, Baron's up. Also, we are not really going to get to use our R. So I think value we're going to get from this position is very, very limited. Split push Nocturne. It's just not that good. Split push Jax is way better if you want to split. So you guys were 4 versus 4. Ashe is dead. Ezreal's dead. If you were here, now granted, if they didn't see you bot, they may not have pushed this. So this is a bit hindsight. But if you were in this area, you guys wouldn't have had to given this up. Your team chooses to kind of int 2 versus 4. Now Maokai finally leaves base. And you could flop in on Vi here, kill her really quick. Thresh landing on cooldown. Yeah, I think you just go in here. Yone's flip-flopping. Wait, where'd you go? Guess you're waiting for them to come dragon. You let them walk into you. You used your R in a strange way that fight. Kind of used it as an auto attack resetter, which I've done. You can use his R like an auto attack resetter. It's just, it's weird to use it when you're already like in melee with them. Ocean Dragon, remember this. This is the meanest dragon in the game. It's the most difficult dragon because it's auto attack slow. All the other dragons' autos don't have any kind of crazy effect. This is the only one. So if there's enemies nearby, if it's going to be a scrappy situation, don't start it because you're perma-slowing yourself. Yeah, you're just going to die. You basically started dragon because you were excited you got a kill, but you didn't realize your team was super far away. Before you make any like moderately sized decision like a gank or an objective, always check to where your teammates are quickly on the mini map. So you said, okay, 2 teammates there, 1 in base, so you can't do this then. Just a quick glance on the mini map. That's all it takes. Looks like your team was able to wash up, kind of. Never mind. They overextend and they're getting caught out by Ocean Dragon. They're not going to be able to escape now. Ocean Dragon too strong. Oh god. Ocean Dragon MVP. Now Maokai's getting slowed by it. These Rise R's though. You decided to get a Hex Drinker. Feels like a weird choice because their only magic damage person is really the Teemo. I think you would have been better off going for like a GA, even a Black Cleaver, or even a Dead Man's, or even a Thornmail. Lots of different items, but magic resist, I don't know. Hex Drinker seems a little bit early because Teemo's not even ahead. He's 1 in 3. So you make contact. You're still holding on to your Q. Then you use it. Yep. That's really the main thing. In terms of your combos, just make sure you're queuing as soon as possible off your R, and you're using your E as soon as possible, because you're already using your Stride Breaker pretty much immediately, which is good, because you're trying to keep them on top of you so they don't break your E tether. You see Teemo's top side, you see he's only 2 full item, you're 2.5 full item. You should be able to win this. He also went Berserker Greaves with Aerie. It's a weird combo. Usually you'd see Berserker Greaves on more of an on-hit Teemo who has like press attack lethal tempo. You see he's shoved up right now, you'd immediately go for this. Most of League of Legends, you don't have to use F key. F keys are very clunky and kind of awkward to use. I still use them, but like 90% of the information you need, that could easily get you to diamond alone. you could play on lock screen as long as you're willing to look at the minimap as much as humanly possible. When I say that, I mean like the majority of the game, as in 80% or more. Especially as a jungler, when you're just pathing around, fighting camps, you're staring at the minimap, watching patterns in the pictures, watching people trade through the pictures, watching people move around on the map, the little pictures. So here you're like, okay, Teemo out of position, I gank this. Like here, you wouldn't even stop for red buff. You'd just boop, you would just go and got him right now. I guess you're waiting for your R. It gives them an opportunity to potentially escape. You get the stride breaker, W. I would have just stepped in the bush sooner. That was decent. Stepped in the bush to maintain vision control. Yeah, Ezreal's dash is on a cooldown. Your teammates are following up. This is a tough decision. I think going for Vi or Ezreal here are both valid. This is just a coin flip of which one would be better. If your team was more formed up, then I think you would want to go in on Ezreal and leave Vi off to the side on the flank. But since your team's a little bit flaky right now, I think Ezreal or Vi are both equally valid options. So you decide to go in for the Vi. You have a beautiful spell shield, right? When she goes to RU, then you R away. This is perfect. This looks like a high elo Nocturne move where you took up a lot of space, you threatened an all-in, they collapsed on you, and then you R to a different target in the teamfight. This is absolutely perfect. Thought process. So you end up picking the Yone, you pull off. Now you just need to survive. You can throw in a Q if you want like that. Yep. It's hard to even tell what's happening here. It looks like the enemies got rolled. So after a successful team fight or any like big thing happens, you need to immediately look objective. Your dragon, no dragon up. Turret. Maybe we can push and get mid turret because top minis are too far away. Should be Baron? Probably not. It's only 3 of you. Akali's almost dead. Ryze is almost dead. Baron's a terrible call here. Yep, just go for mid turret. And yeah, you probably get this one, then you reset. That's awesome. You guys won a team fight fairly decisively, and you get 2 turrets out of it. That team fight, that play you made where you aggroed 2 of them and then still killed the Yone, that low-key was like the play of the game. Like, big time. It's funny how people against Nocturne like to split push, especially when they're weak split pushers like Teemo. You check his items, you see he has 3 items. He has Berserkers, but he's airy. You're 3 full item Nocturne with Maw, so you could definitely crush him. He's also missing a bit of health. You stride breaker him in midair. That's really nice. You should also Q him. You still have your Q. You really hold on to that thing for a while. You're saving it. Very nice. I'd push the wave and group back with the team. Resetting's fine here. You're looking for a GA. I think you're going to want some form of heal cut. Heal cut is one of the most neglected items you'll see lower elo players neglect, even though it's the most important item in the game. So for example, Yone is heavy duty healing off of 2 different life stills. Ezreal has life still. Vi has divine heal, death stance heal, and I guess Teemo doesn't have any, but they have a lot. They have 3 different champions healing a lot, and your team has 1 Oblivion Orb. If you could get a Bramble or an Executioner's, it would make a huge difference for when you guys are focusing down Yone. He would actually die rather than just perma-tanking. Your R's on cooldown. When you're moving around the map, you can use your Q to get places. Just make sure it's not on cooldown when you actually get to where you need to be. Your Q makes you go a bit faster. So here, I think this is the only time I saw you Q early, and I think you actually missed. This is like the first time all game where you opened up with a Q. Hit him with an E. You didn't use E. Guess you're saving it. Smack him with the R. You just save the Ryze. Yeah, they're just split pushing you guys. They know they can't win team fights. You need to make sure they don't get Draxel. If they get Draxel, you guys lose. Go for Dragon. You shouldn't be on Gromp right now. If you're backing for Teemo, that's one thing, but you can't give them Soul. That's game, in my opinion. This is where you guys lost. When they got Soul, you just lose. I would have looked topside here and figured out very quickly Teemo can't end. He has no supers. He doesn't have that many minions. He doesn't have that much pushing power. On hit items, like Leandries or Nashers, they don't do any damage to turrets. Like, the only damage Teemo's doing to the turret is his base AD and a percent of his total magic, of his total ability power. Like, he's not going to push turrets that hard. But giving up Dragon here, giving up Soul, the only dragons that you fight for and give up inhibs for are Souls and Elders. That's it. If this was any other dragon, then you could have given it. But Souls and Elders you do not give just for an inhib. Because now this game's going to get a lot harder. Especially your team doesn't have much heal cut. They get Ocean Drag. You are the Teemo probably because you think it's an easy kill and you really want to save that inhib. It's just not worth. It's just not worth. We could have given that inhib, won the team fight, scraped them. Teemo wouldn't even be able to get a turret if he stayed. Maybe like almost breaks it type situation. The way you're playing right now, it's good enough to win most of your games and it could probably get you to plat. But you'll lose more games than you need to, I guess. You just need the order of operations of which objectives are the most important. And like in order, the most important objectives in the game in order are Eldar, Draxel, then Baron, basically. If I were to throw inhibs in there, I would say Eldar, Soul, inhib, Baron. Baron's like the least important. The whole point of Baron is to get inhibs. If the enemy team has a lot of push, a lot of way of killing minions like a Ziggs or a Lux, and they just blow your waves apart and you can't get to the turret, that's the whole point of the Baron, is so you can take the inhibs, so you can end. But if you've already taken the inhib, you don't, like, Baron doesn't mean that much. Sure, it's nice to have, but it's not game, it's not what you, it's not like you need it type of thing. So like in order, it's generally Eldar, Soul, Baron, inhib, generally in that order. Your R's up. I would probably have just killed Vi. You go for the Ezreal. Then you turn around and kill the Vi. Lethal tempo diff. You chop them up. They're choosing not to team fight you guys. Now, in a case like this, where they have multiple of your inhibs, this is where, like, Baron goes up in that order of operations to probably the most important objective in the game. Only because they already have several inhibs, and then they'll have Baron empowered supers. So at this point, we really don't want to let them get Baron if possible. We'll just start pouring minions down our throat. So you see they're starting it. Yeah, this is just a big throw. Like, Rise isn't there, and you're not really there either. Even if you do R here, you guys are fighting 4 versus 5. At this point, you just give Baron. There's no reason to fight this. Your team kind of throws. So you are in. I think this is a really bad fight, though, just because there's more of them than there is of us type of thing. We don't have the heal cut to kill Yone. If we had heal cut, we might have actually won this fight. I don't know how you guys almost won this. So the Maokai R is landing. You hit a massive Q. You hit a big stride breaker. Ashe is in the back line. I can't even see you. There you are. You have your lethal tempo. It's about to be fully stacked here. You need to get back on the Ezreal. I would path away from Yone and just like go into Ezreal flash red smite, especially if you know his E's on cooldown. Ezreal's gonna start chipping you now. Yeah, honestly, if we had heal cut, this might have still been winnable. Yone just took so long to die. Really not that too many mistakes. If you didn't tell me what elo this is, I would have assumed you were a gold or a platinum Nocturne. You built massive leads just by full clearing when Vi was messing up a lot of her ganks, which generally what junglers do pre-diamond. She'd fallen really far behind in CS. She was down in gold, all that fun stuff. The main thing I saw was off your R's, you hold on to your Q for way too long. You need to use your Q in midair, how like you were using your stride breaker. You can technically use your stride breaker in midair too before you make impact, just make sure they're within range. You tend to hold on to your E for slightly too long after your R as well. Never give up a soul just for an inhib. It's not worth. It's the main stuff. Let me check your clear one more time. I think you goofed up here. So you'll see this a lot. When you're playing a full clear jungler, the enemy jungler will just like do random stuff and they'll put themselves behind. So when you're farming, you're staring at the minimap, right? And look. You see Vi, her picture randomly shows up mid, so you click over there. And like she does this really terrible gank. She's level 2, right? Because she did 3 camps. You see the 12 CS, which means each camp's 4. So she did 3 camps. One of them wasn't Gromp or Krugs. So she's not even level 3. She puts herself super far behind doing this. She also exposes that she doesn't have blue buff yet. So you know her full blue side's probably up, or at least the blue buff is. You see she's low. This happens so much to where if you're just full clearing, you'll win by default just because the enemy jungler are doing dumb stuff. So I like the invade. This was really good. The biggest thing off of this was, I see why you pulled back, because they're like top and mid went missing. I wouldn't want to stay for Gromp either. But just take the double scuttle. Like just push through mid from here. Vive's low. Take the double scuttle. Maybe gank bot if they don't respect it. But the biggest thing that happened, the biggest mess up in the early game, is we basically just didn't recall. We stayed on the map forever, to where if I speed this up, you'll see we just never leave. To where we're sitting on a lot of gold. We let Vi get... I don't think she even took scuttle for some reason, but she should have. And now we're still on the map level 5. I would also practice moving in between your auto attacks a bit more in training tool. You stand still a lot when you're autoing. That slight footwork makes a huge difference. Tiny little footworks. And then we stay. We're 6. We're still on the map. We are Ezreal. And then this is where it's objectively just wrong to stay, right? Everything up until now, you can say, all right, I was playing for level 6 power spike, which is fair. Like Fiddlesticks, Nocturne, this is what they do. A lot of times they'll stretch their recall because they're playing for that level 6 pre 7 minute 30 R power spike. But then what do we do? We're like, you know what? Maybe we should take Dragon, and then maybe we should go for blue buff, and then maybe we should go for Wolves, and we skipped Gromp, which I don't really understand why we skipped that, because that kept things not linear. Okay, it wasn't quite spawned in yet. That makes a little more sense now. So, and then we go to Raptors. It's like we just needed to back, because now look, by not backing, we're also messing up our R, because by the time we finally back, our R is up. It's been up since like 9:15. Look at the clock. We've already lost about 30 seconds of R, potential R usage. So if you want a definitive point in this game where it's like you goofed, it was this. We had now it's like 48 seconds. It's like a really long time. 5. It's a very long time. It's over 40 seconds between when our R was up and we used it, because we based at a really weird time for, I guess, a specific item, which isn't necessary, because you can always pick up boots or something. You can always pick up boots or lucidities or that type of thing. So this was probably your biggest mistake in the early game, not taking the immediate double scuttle, and also just delaying your delaying your back for so long, even once your R was already on a cooldown. Yeah. And then you're not using your Q in midair. Sometimes you hold on to your E for too long. You're not really moving in between autos. Other than that, I thought you played pretty dang good, man. You didn't die that much, which is fantastic. I could definitely see you making it to gold or platinum before the season ends, as long as you stick with it, stay consistent, and look on the minimap. Best of luck to you, man.